So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street, Selsey, or call 606 552.
Hello and a warm welcome to Selsey Internet Radio. I'm Tony Weiner, your host for the show. So, on the programme this week, we start with Jean Pratt, who's going to tell us what's on in Selsey. This is then followed by a recipe from Lynn for ham and peas soup, which I think will be fantastic in this very cold December weather. That will then be followed by Giles, our local celebrity gardener. And to complete this week's podcast, we have the third in the trilogy from Ellis, which is called Old Man's Kangaroo. So, without much further ado, it's over to Jean, who's going to tell us what's on.
Welcome everyone. Well, on Wednesday the 10th of December, Selsey the WI are having their Christmas party at the Town Hall, starting at 2:15. Christopher Bowman will entertain them with music of Sir Patrick Moore. If you would like to know more about the Selsey WI, you can contact Pauline Bridges on 077601 26613 or Stella Chris on 01243 603 221. The Selsey Society, the local history group, are meeting on Thursday the 11th of December, and the speaker is James Kenny, an archaeologist from the Chichester District Council. He would be talking about archaeology on the peninsula. Friends and guests are welcome. There will be the usual charge of £1.50, which also includes refreshments. Now, if you would like further information about this, you can contact John Mason on 01243 605951. On Friday, December the 12th, the University of the Third Age are having their Christmas celebratory party at the Selsey Centre. Doors will be open at 2 o'clock for a start at 2:30. There will be a quiz, carol singing and other Christmas celebrations. Also on Friday the 12th of December, Mind, who usually meet once a month, are having a Christmas party at the Selsey Centre. Be there at 9 a.m. and it will end at 12. And there is just one reminder that the Selsey and District Lions Club will be travelling around Selsey during December with their Christmas carol float and would welcome your support. That's all for this week. Goodbye.
Thanks, Jean. And now we go over to Lynn for a ham and peas soup recipe.
Okay, well, back in the studio today we have Lynn Reeve again.
Hello.
From Tuppenny Rice. And Lynn's got a very short recipe for us today, she tells me.
Not too short. Ham and pea soup.
Well, that's tasty. I could go
A traditional favourite, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and really easy to do when you've had a hard day at work and you just want to come home and have something
Big
quick.
chunks of crusty bread.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Wonderful.
Home-baked bread? Home-baked bread would be nice, but, our bakers in the village do some lovely bread.
I was going to say, we've
yeah.
got a couple of very good bakers.
We certainly have. So again, we're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Most of my recipes have got olive oil in them. 1 large onion, 400 grams of peas, and you can use frozen peas for this. It's not a problem at all. It's not going to taste any different. 750 mils of ham or chicken stock. Use a stock cube that you can buy from anywhere in the village, any one of the supermarkets in the village. 200 grams of cooked ham, diced. Preferably you want it cubed, so you don't want to buy sliced ham. You want to buy a 1 piece of ham and dice it up. So, okay. 100 grams of reduced fat soft cheese, and for me, half a teaspoon of grated nutmeg for the end. It just gives it that nice little different flavour again, which I'm always trying to achieve. You could, for the big meat stock on this one, you could use vegetable stock, all right, if you wanted to. And for the ham, you could use corn, so you could get yourself a nice little vegetarian version going on. Start then by frying your onion until it's soft, not mushy, just soft, please. Stir in your peas and your stock and boil them up, and then reduce it and simmer for about 5 minutes. All right?
Okay.
Season it well to taste and puree it. puree it in a blender. All right. Then you just add your ham, heat it back through in the saucepan to boiling, and add your soft cheese. All right, take it off the heat, add your soft cheese, and it just whirls around till the cheese begins to kind of soften and melt in the soup. Put it into your soup bowl and grate some nutmeg over the top. Serve it up with a nice cheesy bit of bread.
And no mention of wine.
And no mention of wine. Well, you have to have wine on the table. That's just, you don't have to always mention it, do you?
No, that's
it's just there on the table, isn't it? It's just one of life's little necessities. All right, then.
Well, that was very short and sweet.
Very short and sweet.
I have to say, it sounded tasty. I can
Oh,
just
it's
imagine.
lovely.
Cold
Nothing
win-
like a bowl of soup to warm you up,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Cold winter's evening, just
Yeah.
coming in from outside, perhaps
And not hard to do.
had a nice walk along the seawall,
Oh, with
racing.
a new dog. I've got a new dog and he's a
Oh,
nightmare.
we've got a new dog, have you?
He's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, we considered getting a dog, but they need to be walked whether it's raining.
Oh, they do,
And I saw an
yeah.
old lady a couple of days ago with two little West Highland Terriers, and she was walking out, and it was absolutely
Yeah.
teeming down the road.
I've been doing that
She's
too.
taking the dogs out
Yeah.
for a walk, and I thought, I don't know that I could be that
No,
committed.
I am that committed. I am that daft lady that's
well
walking
done you.
the little terrier, but he's a cross between a border terrier and a Tasmanian devil. So
Oh, right.
yeah, we're having trouble with him. Any dog
surprised
whispers
there.
out there, I'd be pleased to hear from you.
Well, thanks very much as usual, then. And,
You're welcome.
We'll look forward to seeing you again next time.
Okay, you take care now.
Thanks, Alan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Lynn. And over to Giles.
Good afternoon, Giles. Nice to have you back in the studio again.
Nice to be able to see you again.
Going to get some more education in gardening. You might make a gardener of me by the end of the
Oh
series.
yes, I'm sure. Well, you've already told me about the hawk, so
Yes,
we're on the road, on the right road.
My wife's a gardener in our
Yeah.
family, I have to say.
Oh, well.
Thankfully, we've only got a very small garden,
Yeah,
so
well,
it doesn't take too much look at it.
Probably it'll give you a bit more interest now. You'll be out there yourself as well. That'll be good.
Well, when she gets a RHS magazine through the door,
Oh, I know
might
the
be able
one.
to understand some of what's written in it.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. A couple of hours of sunshine this time of year can transform the boughs very much. If there's a bit of sunshine, and if you look at the boughs of shows up the really beautiful, quite beautiful, some varied buds on the various trees and shrubs. They show up really nicely now. And also they remind us of better days that are coming ahead, which is nice. So that's quite interesting to do.
Get rid of these dark days.
Yeah,
and nights.
exactly. And this time of year, of course, evergreens are coming to their own now, very much so, and they stand out quite a lot in the. They stand out quite a lot in the, in the gardens. Well, in the countryside in general, actually. So they're really. And they're very noticeable against these what we call grey and heavy skies. It's nice to see the green of the evergreens, holding
very
us.
much. Absolutely.
The dormice are now nesting in the ivy, and the hedgehogs obviously in their buried in the debris, in the garden debris, some at some stage. Mistletoe, if people are looking to get their own out in the country, so best places to look for it are apples, poplars and oaks. They're the main trees that mistletoe tends to attach itself to. And another little interesting fact, I'm prattling on about holly a lot at the minute. It's probably everyone knows this, but on holly, the lower leaves are always extremely prickly, as I'm sure we all know. But actually, if you ever get to the top of the holly, they're not prickly at all.
Is that true?
Reason being, so to stop various animals and whatever they might be eating the bottom leaves, so that's why they're prickly at the bottom. But if you ever
Something else I learned
go to
today.
the top of the holly tree or pick a bit, you'll see they're virtually prickle free.
I mean, I would just say, when we were talking about mistletoe, that you do see mistletoes growing up in trees.
Yeah.
And I would just say, think about the cost of it.
Yeah.
If you go and buy it in the
know.
shop,
I know.
it may cost a few bob, but climbing up a tree and falling out may cost an awful lot.
Yeah, a lot more than going. Yeah, you're right.
So, I know it's
probably
tempting.
better, probably nicer looking up in the tree, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree with you there. An idea for a Christmas present or presents if people want to do it. get a frost-proof pottery container and plant it up with a mini shrub, which could be, just to quote a few examples, a dwarf conifer, a dwarf honeysuckle, and a dwarf witch or corkscrew hazel. They're just but a few. And then have some ornamental ivy on it, and then underplant it with some dwarf narcissi, tulips, and also put a few winter pansies and primroses in it, and that will make lovely presents for people if one wishes to make one's own present. In the garden, if not already done, the leaves more or less are finished now, dropping. So take any netting off ponds so the air gets through. That's what I'm talking about with people with fish really at the minute.
Yeah.
And then, as I think probably everyone knows, put a couple of tennis balls on the top just to stop it. If it freezes up, it leaves the air hole.
And that bit I do understand.
Yeah, I'm sure
that
most people will do that. Yeah. And also don't forget to lag outdoor taps and pipes, and also very important is to drain off any hose pipes. People often forget this; they leave the hose pipe out somewhere, and then they don't drain it off, and of course quite often it just cracks and breaks. So make sure the hose pipe is well drained off and rolled up and put away. That's very important. A few little useless bits of information again. Dig over the vegetable patch now. That's a good idea again, and add some compost and manure if one feels like doing it. It's a bit of exercise anyway this time of year.
I'll tell the wife that.
Yeah, I think
I'll send her out to do that.
Pass it on. With the greenhouses, it's all right on a sunny day. We've had a bit now actually. Just open the vents for an hour or so, because that will get rid of the high humidity, but stop it building up. Which in turn will stop a lot of grey mould, i.e. botrytis, getting to the various plants that are inside, and also make sure that the greenhouse glass is ultra clean to let every bit of sunlight in at this time of year. Another thing is, if you're buying nuts, and people do buy a lot, especially this time, shell nuts, if they rattle at all, they're not fresh. Avoid them. Avoid them. Leave them. Nut shells, keep them, some of them, because they're very usual as drainage in pots.
Oh, right.
They're very useful for that. Another thing is, don't move Christmas cacti at all until they finish flowering, because if you move them, they do not like it, and their buds will fall off and the flowers will fall off. That is very important. Do not move Christmas cacti at all until they finish flowering. We're getting meat and vegetables a lot these days from the supermarkets. Keep some of them back, the containers, and they make very useful little seed trays with a couple of holes drilled in the bottom. Yeah. And again, back to holly. We keep reversing to holly at the minute. If it gets a bit nearer Christmas, you want to actually bring some in, but you're not quite ready to put it around the house. A good way of keeping it fresh, if you like, is put it in a bucket with some damp peat moss.
All right.
And it'll keep for a week or 10 days, and just keep it in a cool place indoors.
So somewhere like a conservatory.
Yeah, or even the shed, probably, if it's not too cold in there. Yeah. So I think on that happy note, we can go out getting holly and leave it at that for the minute.
Okay. Well, thanks once again, Giles. And that's 2 lots of education I've had recently with regards to the gardening.
I dread the third one.
Well, I look forward to it, I have to say. So see you again soon, Giles.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye now. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Giles. And we finished this week's podcast with the third in a trilogy from Ellis, Old Man's Kangaroo.
The Sing-Song of Old Man Kangaroo. Not always was the kangaroo as now we do behold him, but a different animal with 4 short legs. He was grey and he was woolly, and his pride was inordinate. And he danced on an outcrop in the middle of Australia and went to the little god Uka. He went to Unka at 6 before breakfast, saying, "Make me different from all other animals by 5 this afternoon." Up jumped Unka from his seat in the sand flat and shouted, "Go away!" He was grey and he was woolly and his pride was inordinate. He danced on a rock ledge in the middle of Australia and he went to the middle god Unking. He went to Unking at 8 after breakfast, saying, "Make me different from all other animals. Make me also wonderfully popular by 5 this afternoon." Up jumped Unking from his burrow in the spinifex and shouted, "Go away!" He was grey and he was woolly and his pride was inordinate. He danced on a sandbank in the middle of Australia and he went to the big god Ungong. He went to Ungong at 10 after dinner time, saying, "Make me different from all other animals. Make me popular and wonderfully run after by 5 this afternoon." Up jumped Ungong from his bath in the salt pan and shouted, "Yes, I will." Ungong called Dingo, yellow dog Dingo, always hungry, dusty in the sunshine, and showed him Kangaroo. Ungong said, "Dingo, wake up, Dingo. Do you see that gentleman dancing on an ash pit? He wants to be popular and very truly run after. Dingo, make him so." Up jumped Dingo, yellow dog Dingo, and said, "What, that cat rabbit?" Off ran Dingo, yellow dog Dingo, always hungry, grinning like a coal scuttle, ran after Kangaroo. Off went the proud Kangaroo on his 4 little legs like a bunny. And this, O best beloved of mine, ends the first part of the tale. He ran through the desert, he ran through the mountains, he ran through the salt pans, he ran through the reed beds, he ran through the blue gums, he ran through the spinifex, he ran till his front legs ached. He had to. Still ran Dingo, yellow dog Dingo, always hungry, grinning like a rat trap, never getting nearer, never getting farther, ran after Kangaroo. He had to. Still ran Kangaroo, old man Kangaroo. He ran through the tea trees, he ran through the mulga, he ran through the long grass, he ran through the short grass, he ran through the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer. He ran till his hind legs ached. He had to. Still ran Dingo, yellow dog Dingo, hungrier and hungrier, grinning like a horse collar, never getting nearer, never getting farther, and they came to the Wollongong River. Now, there wasn't any bridge and there wasn't any ferry boat, and Kangaroo didn't know how to get over, so he stood on his hind legs and hopped. He had to. He hopped through the flinders, he hopped through the cinders, he hopped through the deserts in the middle of Australia. He hopped like a kangaroo. First he hopped 1 yard, then he hopped 3 yards, then he hopped 5 yards, his legs growing stronger, his legs growing longer. He hadn't any time for rest or refreshment, and he wanted them very much. Still ran Dingo, yellow dog Dingo, very much bewildered, very much hungry, and wondering what in the world or out of it made old man Kangaroo hop. For he hopped like a cricket, like a pea in a saucepan, or a new rubber ball on the nursery floor. He had to. He tucked up his front legs, he hopped on his hind legs, he stuck out his tail for a balance weight behind him, and he hopped through the Darling Downs. He had to. Still ran Dingo, tired dog Dingo, hungrier and hungrier, very much bewildered and wondering when in the world or out of it would old man Kangaroo stopped. Then came Ungong from his bath in the salt pan and said, "It's 5 o'clock. Down sat Dingo, poor dog Dingo, always hungry, dusty in the sunshine, hung out his tongue and howled. Down sat Kangaroo, old man Kangaroo, stuck out his tail like a milking stool behind him and said, "Thank goodness that's finished." Then Ungong, who is always a gentleman, Why aren't you grateful to Yellow Dog Dingo? Why don't you thank him for all he's done for her? Then the kangaroo, tired old kangaroo, he chased me out of the homes of my childhood. He chased me out of my regular meal times. He's altered my shape so I'll never get it back. And he's played old scratch with me legs. Then, said Ung Kong, perhaps I'm mistaken, but didn't you ask me to make you different from all the other animals, as well as make you very truly sought after, and now it is 5 o'clock? Yes, said the kangaroo, I wish that I hadn't. I thought you would do it with charms and incantations, but this is a practical joke. Joke, said Ung Kong from his bath in the blue gums. Say that again and I'll whistle up Dingo and he'll run your hind legs off. No, said Kangaroo. I must apologise. Legs are legs and you needn't alter them as far as I'm concerned. I only meant to explain to your lordliness that I've had nothing to eat since morning and I'm very empty indeed. Yes, said Dingo, Yellow Dog Dingo, I'm in just the same situation. I've made him different from all other animals, but what may I have for my tea? And said Kong from his bath in the salt pan, come and ask me about it tomorrow because I'm going to wash. So they were left in the middle of Australia, Old Man Kangaroo and Yellow Dog Dingo, and each said, that's your fault.
Thanks very much, Ellis, and thanks to everybody who's helped produce this show. And to you, of course, our audience, thanks for listening. And until next week, it's Tony Weiner saying bye for now.